bottle to give my brains a rest. The world she changed so quickly, I'm sure it's for the best. Fire and water, they making war here behind my eye. The bottle she promised a better life, but these tears they cannot lie. Sing to the moon, sing to the stars, sing to the dawn, but sing from your heart. My head is hiding under my arm in pain, great pain. Sing to the moon.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Ethics with Lulama and Corrie.
Hello, I'm so happy you could join us. A quick reminder, Lulama here is an ethics and anti-corruption specialist with the EthiX Institute.
This podcast is brought to you by the EthiX app, that is EthiX with an X.
The EthiX app is a collaboration between the EthiX Institute, Le Super Difference, and Corrie Campbell, that's me.
Watch out for our contact details during the podcast.
It's all about talking to each other. Kuluma, praat met mekaar. Today we are talking to Ali Gule. Welcome and thank you for stopping by.
To the two of you gentlemen, thanks for having me here. And it's a good feeling that we're here. And I think we've got a lot in common that we're going to share and engage on.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gule. And, you know, Mr. Ali Gule is the Community Engagement Officer at OUTA. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that is, for those of you who don't know, the organization undoing tax abuse. And you guys are doing an amazing job, I must say, especially in checking what's happening with our hard-earned tax money and holding those responsible to account.
Exactly. But we'll chat a bit about OUTA towards the latter part of the discussion with you, Ali. What I would like to know from you now, who is Ali Gule? Where are you from, Ali?
I was born and bred in Mpumalanga, small town called Bethel. I've always been in the thick of things of community affairs. Fortunately, that is exactly what I'm continuing to do at OUTA. As your colleague has said, we are a civil society that is keeping the government on toes, so to speak. But we just hold the government accountable. We're not the enemy of government, neither are we an opposition party. Our interests are for the taxpayers. Right. We check what the government is doing and we hold them accountable, but nudge them in the right direction so that at the end of the day, your tax, my tax, is doing what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Actually, the taxpayers, something that we don't say very often, are the bosses.
Yes.
We pay them. It's not the other way around. So my duty as a person who works directly and liaises with the community sometimes is just to create educational awareness about what government is supposed to do. Why are we so fussy about taxes? Our troubles, all troubles you can think of, the lack of water, polluted water,
which
the
is
lack
happening
of,
right now, today. I mean,
the
there's
lack
no
of
water.
electricity,
Yeah.
the potholes, the list is endless. The money that disappear in certain people's pocket is the money that is supposed to be fixing our troubles. It's a bad feeling when a person goes to a clinic and hospital and there's no medication. So while we're watching our public purse, we want the money, our taxes, to do what it's supposed to do. That is, amongst other things, what OUTA is all about.
Fantastic. We all want that, Lu. I mean,
Exactly.
we all want our taxes put in the right direction and not wasted. But how do you identify which communities to go into, Ali?
All communities at this day and age have got challenges,
Yes.
one way or the other. But some of the communities are a little bit worse than the others. Look, we always thought challenges and troubles are with informal settlements from a distance. You come closer. People living in the suburbs, they've got their own challenges. Right now, let me make an example. Johannesburg City has intentions to increase rates and taxes. It's not a bad thing if they want more money. But if they collect more money, will service delivery increase? The answer is no, because if you walk into the CBD, Johannesburg CBD, if you walk into our residential areas, We've got a lot of uncollected dumps, tax, and we've got sewage in other areas running down the street, water running down the street, and all these things. I'm not even talking about hijacked building that belongs to the government. There's so much trouble. So if the government is collecting more tax, but it delivers for what it's taking, I don't think any person will be complaining. The problem is if they take money and you get nothing in return, that community start to be agitated. So we're looking across the boards of all the communities. We don't prefer one community above the others.
But sorry to interrupt you there, but how many people do you have in your team? So I'm just trying to work out, because, how many communities you could go into. Is it just the Johannesburg area, or is it Gauteng, or what is your area that you are involved in?
We work around the country, everywhere. We've just launched recently a project called Water Can.
Yes.
And Water Can is, we're testing the cleanliness of water across the countries, engaging municipalities and community-based organizations and other civil societies. It's a subject for another day, but you'll be scared what kind of water are we consuming. Most of the information is already in public domain from the media.
But why is it a subject for another day? Let's talk about it now. Hey, Lou, what do you think? If you've got something to share with us, please do.
We can talk about it now. But for an example, let's zoom in the issue of Hammanskraal. People are dying there.
Yes.
And the government is not even aware what causes cholera there, what happened. But parallel to that, a lot of millions have been given to someone who has got too many tenders from the government and did nothing. That's the problem. Some of the problems that engage, let's stick to for a moment to municipalities.
Yeah. Sure.
Because municipalities are in direct contact with us. Most of the time, the municipalities are falling apart because of political interference and deployment and incompetent people appointed to senior positions, crucial positions. But look at the AG's report, year in, year out. What are they finding from municipalities? So there's so much that OUTA is involved in, but with limited resources and personnel.
That's why I asked.
We're not everywhere where we're supposed to be. But with the little stuff we have, with the little money we have, we're striving to do our best. But consistently, we urge the people to contribute and support us with little. Once-off contribution is fine. Some people are we're talking about ordinary citizens here who realize and appreciate what we're doing, and they decide to do something. But we are trying our best. There's so much to do. There's so much to look into.
How big is OUTA? So everything is donations from the public. That's how you run.
Yes.
And how many staff members, or how many employees, or how many are they volunteers, or how does it work at OUTA?
We do have a staff of between 40 and 50 people. It's not a big organization, but you look at what we're doing, the results are incredible, because it's dedication and commitment and good leadership. I think if I'm not pushing it too far, the government can learn a lot from civil societies like OUTA.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a big size. Right now, let me sneak in something. We have a problem of having a very big parliament.
Yes.
The cabinet is too much big. You don't even know the names there. But what are all these people are doing? In some instances, one minister has got 2 deputy ministers.
Sure.
But if we've got too many people and the results are evident, we are not going to complain, of course, but we've got a large government, we've got a large cabinet, we've got so many MPs, But do we see the results? No.
So
I think they say, okay,
Sorry,
sorry.
go.
I think as the saying goes, too many kings, not enough soldiers. So we've seen the AG's report, we hear the newspaper mishaps, the unethical conduct. Municipalities, for what, like musical chairs, they one doesn't even, if you finish a year there, it's amazing. Despite hearing all these reports and all these things that come out and that are made public, but there still seems to be something lethargic about doing something. What is that spark, that catalyst that's needed to move to the next step?
Look, OUTA has always been in the thick of things. Mm-hmm. In fact, the problems and challenges that we're identifying on daily basis, we're not even attending all of them. Well, many people are still associating us with the big fight of ethos. It's a good victory, of course.
That was your first big one, wasn't it?
That's when OUTA was born.
Yes.
But eventually we realized that ethos is just one piece of a puzzle. There's bigger picture beyond that.
Sure.
And OUTA decided to embark to fight all forms of corruption and to hold the government accountable. But the more we scratch the surface, the bigger we realize that there are too many troubles in our government. There's too many things that are not at the right place. So we're trying our best to sort out everything.
But can you narrow it down a little bit to what say you go into a municipality or a community or something like that, who would you go and see, or where would it start? How would it start, your involvement in a community?
Well, it depends on the merits of the case.
So there has to be a case first before. So do they approach you, or do you approach them, or how does it work, Ali?
Sometimes they approach us. Sometimes whistleblowers, like you had Cynthia in one of your shows here.
Yes.
They approach us with information. Sometimes it's us looking for things to be fixed. Sometimes we investigate and engage the stakeholders. It's running or going to the court is the last resort, but we don't rule that out.
I know.
We
OUTA
engage.
goes to court a lot. They fight a lot of battles in court.
And we win a lot of court battles as well. But actually, if the government was doing the right thing, we shouldn't be going to court. And maybe there was not going to be even an OUTA. But because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then that's how our existence is relevant and important.
No, of course. But how do you get people to do the right thing?
You're talking about people in power.
Yeah. Leadership, we would, last week we spoke quite a lot about leadership,
Yes.
servant leadership, those sorts of things. What is the problem? What is the problem that you see, Ali, in government or in municipalities, wherever? What is the problem? Why isn't it changing? Why do we need an OUTA?
Okay, let's zoom, for an example, state-owned enterprises, parastatals.
He's an expert on that.
They are all falling apart because lack of competent leadership. Look at SABC, look at Eskom, look at Denel, look at Transnet. The list is endless. They are all falling apart because people who are in charge there are not there on merit, they're not qualified to be there. Some of them are deployed, they've got good political connections. That should not be happening. So I'm just zooming state-owned enterprises. They are all falling apart. And now and then, we must fork out millions, if not billions, to bail them out.
Sure.
Look at the case of SAA. Because all of that, all the money that we use to bail them out, all the money they squandering, all the money they're stealing. Sometimes we must be a little bit, not being arrogant, but straightforward. Money are not embezzled and squeezed. Money is stolen. That is stealing. The money they're stealing from state-owned enterprises are the money, when I started, I said, should be channeled to the right essential services.
And is that what OUTA, is that your goal, is to get our tax money into the right places, to get the correct leadership, to fix these things?
Amongst others, yes.
Okay.
And if we close the holes where the money is leaking, then a lot of money would be saved. Remember our challenges. Some of the challenges that are facing communities is because of lack of money. But we will never have enough money if we don't close the holes where the public purse money is leaking. That is, amongst other things, what we're looking at.
Would you say if you had a more focused approach where you didn't try to stretch yourself too thin and say, these are the 4 key things we're going to look at, and we're going to gun for that, rather than spread ourselves wherever a whistleblower comes through with information, do you think you'd have a bigger impact, or do you think it is much ado of the same?
Look, we're having a bigger impact right now, but the fact that you're touching information that is brought by whistleblowers is very important, and that's another dimension. Whistleblowers do not get enough support from the government for obvious reasons. They make them uncomfortable because whistleblowers are law-abiding citizens who stand up and be counted if there's any wrongdoing they see in their workplace, like you had Cynthia here. But whistleblowers...
There's a book.
Yes. Whistleblowers are facing a lot of environment that is hostile, which is a form of intimidation. We've got a case of one of the well-known whistleblower now, Papita Diokaran, who was killed for tracking and checking Tembisa Hospital because a lot of dodgy tenders were coming out there.
True.
If one whistleblower is murdered in this instance, that sends a message to other potential whistleblowers to take your rightful place.
That's where I saw you. You had a placard outside the court at the final hearing. Was it Babita's the final hearing, or what was that? Where I saw you outside with a placard.
I'm not sure which one because we have attended all the cases.
Okay, sorry. So
yes.
what would you be doing at a court case for Babita? Then what is your
the role
line?
we've been doing there? First and foremost, we're using Papita's case as our campaign for all whistleblowers. But because her case has been in the public more than any other cases, we're using that case to support all whistleblowers, but we're fighting for justice as well. We're exerting pressure to the court to do the right thing, and fortunately, a small battle has been won. All 6 guys have been sentenced, but the war continues because the guys have not revealed who's the paymasters. Remember, hitmen don't hire themselves. Someone is paying. They have been caught and prosecuted. It's a good thing. But who is the guy behind the whole murder case?
So would they be offered a kind of shorter sentence, or I'm not sure of what the wording is? Would one of those 6 guys be offered shorter sentence if they told who the paymaster is?
Look, we do not want to put the cart before the horse now because that is the process now. That is what at the stage is. I think NPA is persuading that case. That case is still going to come into the public domain. But Papita's case and whistleblowers is not the only case. Remember what happened to the funds during the PPE scandals during the COVID-19. Yes. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to do. There's so much to attend. How I wish organizations like OUTA can get more support, not only financial support, but people can start collaborating, following what we're doing. And we're working hand in glove with other civil societies
I
as
see
well.
that you've got so many projects. You go onto the website. I mean, you've got so the only way to contribute or is go onto your website.
Yes.
www.outa
Yes, the
and
details
then
are there.
donate, and you
Yes.
just donate there.
Yes.
Just to get. I see there's a whistleblowing facility on the website as well.
Yes.
So you guys also do it a bit like what's the other whistleblower house?
Yes.
So do you work with them, or how does it work?
In fact, one of the founders of Whistleblower House, Ben Theron, was
Yes.
working with us. Civil societies and organizations, they're not like political parties. We're not fighting each other. We collaborate when there's a need. Today, we had another collaboration at the Constitutional Court. We always, it doesn't matter. We all work for one common goal, to fight, to save our taxes, and to hold the government accountable.
Right.
Dr. Gule, though, do you guys not worry about your own safety, especially for your employees, considering maybe there might be some who might feel like you meddling?
Look, I do not want to speak on behalf of my colleagues.
Sure.
I've always been in the forefront. I've always been in the thick of things.
Sure.
I don't worry at all. I've never worried. I sleep peacefully. I don't even hide my face. Like you said, you saw me, I speak on TV. I'm here now. I speak on radio. I go to the communities. Remember, evil prosper where good men do nothing.
True.
Criminals in our communities, just ordinary thugs, they are in small percentage. Good law-abiding citizens are in large numbers. But criminals are harassing us because we all run into our little corners and afraid of our lives. So if we stand up and be counted, like the founder of OUTA, Wayne Duvenage,
Yes.
he stood up and be counted and said there's something wrong about this system called ethos. If he was worried about his safety, look how many people have been saved. Because ethos itself is a form of corruption.
Yeah.
Government is raking in billions, hope I'm not exaggerating, from fuel levy. Every time you put in a liter of petrol, there's a certain percentage in a form of a tax called fuel levy that is been taken from your money.
Sure.
That money has got only one item, to fix our road. So if they take in fuel levy and charge and coming up with ethos, that's double charging for the same item. Therefore, in my opinion, this is not OUTA's opinion, it's either do away with fuel levy, sustain ethos, or do away with ethos
Sure.
and sustain fuel levy. And in this instance, the latter has been upheld.
So I'm quite interested to know, how did you join OUTA?
I joined OUTA when it started, right from the onset. I saw on TV guys fighting ethos.
Okay.
I just went there to support the principles that there's something wrong about this system.
Sure.
And that's when I met Wayne. In fact, it wasn't an organization like it is today. It was campaign against that one item.
Sure.
Then, like I said, as we scratched the surface, we realized that there's a bigger problem, and the rest is history. We're getting stronger and strong. We're growing bigger and bigger.
right.
We're having a big impact on our society.
Sure.
In fact, I think even President knows about us.
Yes.
Everyone knows about OUTA, and we keep going.
You spoke about having competent leaders, but what if I said there are competent leaders, but perhaps they are not able to do the right thing in these public institutions? What would you say we need to do to protect them so that they can meet their mandate?
Look, I'm not sure about how can we protect them. If you're a competent leader and you're corrupt, it doesn't make it right.
Sure.
Sometimes the guys who are stealing money, they've got all the qualifications.
Yes.
We're not saying criminals are uneducated people. You may have a degree, you may be an attorney, but if it's in your vein to steal, that does not make you the right leader.
Sure.
We're not saying stealing. Yes, in certain instances. Can I give you something that came up? Johannesburg, one of the entity, they're controlling a budget of about 9 billion. But one of the person in charge there has got only grade 11. And the other one was a receptionist and a teller at a toll gate. How can you put such a large amount to people of that standard? Yes, in some instances, some people are deployed there because of their political connection.
Sure.
But not everyone who steals money is not educated.
Sure.
Whether you've got honors or degree, if you're stealing our tax, you're not supposed to be in charge of our tax, period.
Yeah, we had a guy we were interviewing before Lulama joined me. He was telling us about white-collar crime. It is the most, the biggest problem out there is white-collar crime, are these educated people that you're talking about. It's unbelievable how many do it. Just to change tack a bit, can you tell us about the Link app?
Are you talking about your Link app, WaterCan?
Oh, is that WaterCan? That's what it is, yes.
The WaterCan that we've launched.
Oh, is that what it's called, the Link? Because I got it off your website. What's this? It's an incident management portal for municipalities who have signed up for this free solution. So is it an app you give to municipalities, or how does it work?
We are on continuous basis working with municipalities, collaborating with them on certain issues. But in the process, the municipalities who want to work with us, who are comfortable to work with us, we're not there to give them homework. We're not point scoring with them. We're not marking their script. In fact, this is a basis where we collaborate and empower each other. We are never an enemy of the government.
Yeah.
Where necessary, we educate municipalities how to do their job. Not that they are not competent to do their job, but we open certain, we shine the spotlight on certain corners that they may need to magnify and see how they improve their own working mandate. Some of the municipalities are coming on board. More and more municipalities are realizing that the presence of OUTA is to make their working environment better so that they deliver a better service to their constituencies. And I hope, wish and pray somewhere down the line, we'll see more and more municipalities coming on board. We are invited by other municipalities to come, and they want advices. They want us to collaborate. How can they make their system much better? And we're always available and happy to work hand in glove with all municipalities, but not limited to municipalities.
Sure.
I guess if one minister can say, OUTA, you're doing a better job, how can we improve our department here? We'll be ready, available to help.
So you would go into government as well to help if needs be?
I hope they can invite us, but if they invite us, I think we're more than competent to do so and to assist. The issue is we're forming partnership. We're not there to judge them. We're not there to nail them. We're not. All what we do at the end of the day, it's a taxpayer that must benefit.
Sure.
They're working together. The collaboration is for the benefit of ordinary citizens on the ground.
Mr. Gule, I'm quite interested. Do you guys approach private sector players? Because these things go hand in hand. And how's your engagements with them in making sure that they come to the party?
Look, our mandate is to focus on tax. But having said that, notwithstanding my statement, sometimes corruption, the private sector, individuals or certain entities are also a part of accomplices. Mm-hmm. If there's a need, if we identify a case, depending on the merit of the case, sure, whereby other people who are not even necessarily politicians or government officials, If we open a case and the case is investigated and it involves public sector, they must account. But public sector, again, they must contribute to the smooth running of the government. They must walk the talk. If they want to put money for us to work better, that's better. Maybe in future we can look. For now, our mandate is to look how our tax is used.
Sure.
But the public sector are also our partners because everyone is affected by corruption. I'm urging them to come on board. Sure. Let's work together. Let's see, maybe they've got solutions. OUTA does not have all solutions, but OUTA is willing to work with everyone for solutions.
I put it to you that historically South Africa has never had good governance. You can trace it all the way back, centuries ago. So each administration that comes in somehow learns from the previous one, and they put their own spin on it. Do we need to look at a different way of running our government, or are there things that we can do already to start cleaning up certain interventions that are practical to say, okay, this is what we've been getting wrong for too long, and not just starting with democracy, but going all the way back to say, these systemic things keep on popping up. What do we need to do to say, okay, this is not working in this country, we need to maybe look at a new way of looking at governance?
The fact that governments in general, like you're saying, has never, they've always have their own weak points and loopholes. That necessitates the existence of civil societies. We are the watchdog of the community. I think with the presence of civil societies, we can keep tabs on them. We can check how they're doing. Probably the existence of civil societies should have started long ago. It was there, but very minimal, not as bold and conspicuous as it is now. Like you're saying, the government has, all administration, they have got their own challenges.
Sure.
That is what we must not allow to continue. Somewhere down the line, we must say the bucks stop here.
Yeah.
And there must be a starting point.
Sure.
We have already started, and we are in the right direction to keep government on the tracks and to check what they're doing.
Sure.
And we must do this without fear or favor. Like you said, if we fear for our lives, then our kids will point fingers at us. We're failing our own kids. We do not have another country. This is the only country we have, and we must fix it. It's up to us to fix it. You don't have to have a certain specialities. Ordinary citizens, for a very long time, people are used to complain around price stands in their comfort of their home, sitting somewhere watching game. But what civil society is doing is to urge the people, stand up and be counted. And that makes a lot of difference. More and more people are coming on board. You must have seen us on freeway. It's my team. Every week, twice a day, on top of the bridges, we fly different messages.
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
That is my team. We, as people in the peak hours, in the morning or in the afternoon, as people are going to work, busy with their things, we give them message.
What kind of messages?
We've got all kinds of messages. We had messages that motivate people to. For an example, we had a state capture. State capture, before it started, before the Zondo Commission, there was a lot of denial from government that there is no state capture. We were flying one banner that say, state capture is real. We have connected the dot. And eventually we were right. And we fly messages about water. We fly messages about load shedding. We fly messages that encourage people to do something. And when you flashlight, when you look at it, our our job for the day is done because we are urging people to stand up and be counted, to do something, because that is what civil organizations are all about.
Just if I can come back to your question earlier about governance and going back in history, do you have some sort of a theory or a solution or something about that, Lu?
Well, there are a few ideas that we have where we say let's put in a few interventions that are not too complicated, not going to step on toes of those who are looting and eating. You want to change the boat just a little bit as much as you can without trying to be extravagant or shaking up the status quo in a big way. But, the view is to say, once you get the good things going, those ones who are doing bad, it becomes uncool for them to keep on doing what they're doing. So slowly but surely they go, you know what, it's become fashionable now to be more transparent. So, I'm not going to keep doing what I've been doing because I'm going to get caught out. So those without empathy and those who are corrupt, they don't like the spotlight. So when they realize, okay, more and more good interventions are put into this organization, we're not getting very comfortable right now, so we're going to sort of back into the shadow. But again...
I like your thinking. I think you must come on board to OUTA. Yeah. I like your thinking. OUTA, we work hand in glove with... No idea is too big, no idea is too small. The little ideas that comes from ordinary people like Lu and other people, when you quantify them, put them on the scale, they make a lot of difference. You don't have...
It's like your thing. If someone hoots at you or flashes your lights, it's like the starfish thing. That one person.
That one person. That person acknowledge that we see you.
Yes.
We hear you. And that person may do something about your message.
Sure.
Sometimes seeing a message, you may not come on board and be part of OUTA, but you're saying, I'm not alone. This thing has worried me, but there are people who are on my side. There are people who are doing something about that. Civil organization is about doing something like he says. It may be very small, but the difference that it makes may go a long way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, collectively, we can change the direction of our country.
Yeah.
The people in power are not stronger than the power of the people.
Yeah.
That is where it comes from.
Sure.
Just to go back to your point, Lu, do you know how cool it was to smoke when I was a kid? We were all smoking and doing our thing, smoking. You know how uncool it is now?
Yes.
That's exactly what we've got to do about fraud and corruption and ethics.
Sure.
Exactly to your point.
Yeah.
We've got to make it uncool
Yes.
to lie. I've got this little T-shirt. It's not lacquer to lie. It's not, and that's what it is. It's lying. So we've got to come up with a plan because we're all in the same boat here. We're all trying for the same thing here. We've got to make it uncool to lie.
Sure.
The platform you're having here is not a very big audience like your national television. But please do not look down upon it. You're going to make a lot of difference. Great wine need no bush. In other words, it means you can come out with the best wine from your garden. That is exactly what you're doing here, guys. Somewhere 10 years down the line, you look back and you will realize that you have traveled the same route that OUTA has traveled. The fact that we have started this EthiX app, it's going to touch a lot of hearts, and many people will start to look things differently. That is what communities must be all about. In our little corners, we must shine in our little corners.
Just if I can just look at the camera and say, contact us about the EthiX app. And thank you for bringing it up, Ali. Thank you. Just a little advertisement.
Of course. We need to pay the bills.
We're paying the bills, yeah. Of course, the app. But we're on to something. And another thing we're talking about, and this you might be able to help us with. We were talking about going into schools. You spoke earlier about the kids the youngsters in townships and municipalities and things like that. We've been discussing that we've got to get to schools and start going to school. They're not kids. I can't call them kids. What are
Learners.
Learners. We've got to go to learners and we've got to go to schools and start talking to them about ethics. Are you involved in that at all, or in learners, or
I'm
not at all?
involved with all activities of the communities. We go to school very often with bikers as well. I'm a biker. We go there.
What bike do you ride?
Harley Davidson, of course. Sorry, I'm giving them the free advert. Not everyone. Yeah, Harley is a Harley. You can't argue with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
I promise.
So we go to schools. We speak to learners.
Sure.
But what motivates them to listen to us? We don't come empty-handed. Mm-hmm. We go to different companies. We ask for school donations. Sometimes we bring 30 pairs. We say, give us the poor of the poorest of the school, of the learners. Then we call the parents as well. While we issue these shoes, it's our opportunity to pep talk to them about various issues.
Like what will you talk to them about? Give us a specific.
You'll be surprised how fast and how clever learners at a primary school. For now, we always concentrate on primary schools because you can't teach.
That's the best age.
For an example, there's a lot of bullying at schools.
Yes.
But children keep quiet sometimes for fear of reprisals that the bullies are going to turn on the heat. Just tell the learners, it's cool if you can't talk to your teacher, talk to your parent. The parent may not be aware of violence going on in schools. Look at the other challenges that we're having in our communities. The issue of littering. Littering, plastics are all over, and they end up polluting our own water. They end up in the sea. We're saying, keep your schools clean. But when you go home, take that gospel home. If you're eating a sweet, don't throw it away. For a child, it's minor thing. Oh, it's a sweet. I don't need the paper. I need what's inside. But encourage your friends. So when you cross the street, some schools, because of our involvement, have even launched scholar patrols. Teachers are urged to come early because some of the schools are along the main roads. But the aim, the minor gospel that we spread, brings them together. Sometimes they come and sing for us, but it takes a lot of days they practice for one item when they're going to sing.
Sure.
In other ways, that creates a good relationship between the learners and the teachers. When you're sitting at your desk, sorry, I'm from the old school, we're sitting on a desk. A teacher is someone who's got a certain authority that you fear. But when a teacher come and try to establish your talent in singing and dancing, that brings you closer to your teacher. Then you end up talking to a teacher about things ordinarily you wouldn't talking about. We encourage learners to see teachers as parents more than like as police and wardens who looks for the wrongdoing. Yes. It's cool to talk to a teacher. It's too cool to reveal your talent.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, these are minor things that can cause a lot of troubles in the learning environment. Sure. There's so much that is going on in the learning environment. As a former teacher myself, sometimes kids naturally fear you. But when you start engaging with them in extramural activities,
sure,
the kid that doesn't do very good academically, you'll be surprised. He's one of the good athletes. Then there's something that motivates that child, that at least there's something that teacher appreciates about me. Then he will try to improve it. It overlap into the class as well.
Mr. Ali, I'd like to encourage you to also go to the well-off to-do schools, private schools.
I thought everything is fine.
No. I'll tell you why my thinking is around there. Bullying is a South African problem. Okay, so you'll find in private schools, subconsciously they've been taught they're superior. Okay? You've got kids now coming from maybe underprivileged or middle class. They've seen bullying. These ones with a superior complex, you get to the corporate world, they've got a superior complex. They keep perpetuating that bullying. They make the corporate space unbearable for others, and they're very self-righteous. But they don't see it like that, because where we came from, we're told, you guys are the cream of the crop, and those ones are at the bottom, they're nothing. So they come in with that mentality. I went to UCT, I went to study in New York, because you're from a well-off family. But they're not always taught empathy.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But without derailing much as a person who comes from OUTA, can we sort of urge the government to be proactive in every sector?
Sure.
For an example, the government cannot always come and mop up and sweep up the mess.
Sure.
Can we have the MEC of Education, the Minister of Education, to be proactive instead of seeing an MEC going to a school because another child has been stabbed to death there, but have programs about bullying, have programs about violence and drugs, even if nothing has happened.
Sure.
We've seen that with police.
Yes.
How many times, we don't even know how many guns are in the community now. But when there's a mass shooting at a tavern or at a hostel, then we'll see the minister going there and expressing his condolences. But can we have something proactive before troubles happen?
Sure.
In all sectors, whether it's police, whether it's schools, whether it's... We cannot have a minister of social development speaking because the post office could not pay.
Yeah.
But address the issues up front, then our lives will be much better. And that is what proactiveness, that is what OUTA is also preaching about.
Because the whole government thing is reactive, is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Just to add to that point about bullying that you brought up in private schools, that is what it started at age 8 and 18 and 28 and 38 and 48. It's that all fraud and corruption is about bullying. You know, if you don't tell anyone, that's what it's about. So yeah, we've got to go into schools. We have to go into schools.
Silencing whistleblowers is bullying as well, in a way.
In the biggest way.
Yeah.
It's actually in the last level of it.
Yeah.
Of bullying.
In fact, because we touch the issue of whistleblowers as well, not all whistleblowers are murdered. We've got a list of well-known whistleblowers. Sometimes they make their working environment unbearable. Then one way you are forced out of the system. You're forced to resign. They make your life a living hell. Excuse the language. Until you decide to go.
Yes.
And they say, oh, Lulama has left. What else can we do?
Yeah.
He left voluntarily. He doesn't want to work here anymore. So they make environment so difficult so that the next potential whistleblower says, in order to save myself, in order to save my work, in order to be safe, literally, physically safe, let me stay away from trouble. In other words, even if you see anything wrong, you don't want to stand up and be counted. You just mind your business.
So when you look at where the world we live in today, especially in 2023, growing up, you wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. But with inconspicuous consumption and materialism, do you think it has directly or indirectly led to the type of looting we see today, which is unabashed? It happens and the persons will go and flaunt it on social media.
The looting, that's the right term, the looting that is happening, especially executed by our leaders, has got nothing to do with our upbringing, but has got everything to do with peoples without morals, people without principles. This is pure greed people, motivated by self-enrichment. The fact that very often people get away with murder of looting it encourages other people to do the same.
Sure.
If looting is exposed, people get arrested, people get prosecuted. It sends a clear message to others not to do the same thing. We cannot condone that. That cannot be condoned. Whether I stand by a small guy at the library or whether I stand by the minister or by the president, law must be equal. Unlike George Orwell's book, Animal Farm,
Yes.
we must all be equal. There must be no animals that are more important and eat apples than others.
He just gave himself away as a teacher.
But it's about the rule of law. And these people that are looting, they don't care. They don't care who knows. They don't care who suffers. They don't care. I find it so difficult to grasp these people. They don't care about anything. They just want to eat. I suppose that's the terminology. Just eat.
That's why the civil societies are here. We must conscientize ordinary people, taxpayers, that it cannot be business as usual when money disappears, when people are just stealing and looting and they show off.
Yeah.
We must see to it that people get prosecuted. If we must go and protest at Parliament, we must do it throughout the year, everywhere. But we must never leave. They must not be comfortable about stealing our taxes. They must not rest.
So just, is OUTA involved in lifestyle audit, anything about lifestyle audits?
I don't think we've got enough resources, but we urge the government to do a lifestyle audit. That is important. It cannot be having a person working an ordinary work and living a lavish lifestyle, purchasing expensive cars. How do you manage that?
No, exactly. That, for me, a lifestyle audit is the most obvious thing to do, but somehow it gets squashed and not brought into...
It gets squashed because those who are supposed to do lifestyle audits, they are the culprit themselves. Often,
In cahoots.
we cannot expect a person who created the trouble, the problem, to solve it as well.
Yeah, true.
But we do urge the government to do the lifestyle audit.
We're coming to the end of our discussion, I think. Do you have any questions for Lu or for myself? Anything you'd like to know from us?
Guys, this platform that we have created, for me, maybe it's bigger than what you reckon. This is a good platform. What intentions do you have to make it have an impact to this society? Do you have any plans to, like OUTA started? Look, everyone is talking or knows who OUTA is, but it was up to us to push the limit, the barriers.
Sure.
Some people were very uncomfortable to our presence. What endeavors, what aims and objectives do you have to push the limit to enter areas that we have not been before?
Well, this is going to places we've never been before. We're on Facebook. We're on all social medias, and we're getting bigger and bigger. As we said, it's only our fourth one, but we're going to push this thing, push to get it out there. And it's part of like the EthiX app, is to get people talking. And you know, if companies come into the app, they can put their own governance strategies on the app as well. So it's just to get everyone talking. So it started with the EthiX app, Ali, and it's developed into this podcast. And I'm so pleased that Lu's come on board, because he's an expert in fraud and ethics and corruption and all those in state-owned enterprises. So that's where he works. So I think with the team that we've got here and this platform, hey Andy, we can push this thing, and that's what we intend doing.
For our viewers, Andy's the guy in charge of us.
Yes.
You don't get to see him.
But he's over
there. He's powerful. He's the man in charge. Without him, there's no coffee or tea.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I see him sitting in the darkness there behind the scene. But back to your topics. I like the name EthiX, because that's very powerful.
With the X, yeah.
it doesn't matter if it with an X or not.
But the X makes it slightly different.
Yes, because we're voting next year as well. You must also encourage people to vote as well.
But
the fact that we're keeping the government accountable, we must not discourage people.
Yes.
People must go and vote to make a change. I think morally and emotionally, OUTA will adopt you. OUTA is pro any person with ethics and good morals. If you come across people, whistleblowers who don't want to be known, we've got a desk for whistleblowers.
Yes,
send them to us
Mm-hmm.
and see how we can assist, because they are there. They are the lights, the flashing lights that show where the trouble is.
Right.
Emotionally, I think we can work alongside with you and any other person who just want to do the right thing.
Exactly. Twitter. Elon Musk, he got the X after us. I'm just putting that out there. We didn't copy him. He copied us.
Yeah.
Okay. But seriously, it'd be lovely to work with OUTA. It's lovely. I mean, the EthiX Institute are very involved in this app as well. We've developed it with Professor Rousseau from Viren, whatever, and Lulama. So we've developed it with the EthiX Institute, and it's to get people talking, and it's like you on the bridge with your banner. This is an app where everyone can be involved. It's a very simple app.
We'll be launching a new banner about water pollution and water deficiency soon. I'd like to extend the invitation to 3 of you. Come and experience how is it with the bridge, the sound, the vibe, and how the people respond. I'll give you a date in time.
Please.
Even one of you come and have a look,
Sure.
take pictures. Maybe you can broadcast direct live from the bridge. That will be a unique idea.
Yeah.
Come and have a look what we're doing on the bridge.
Absolutely.
You can have a live
Every little
broadcast.
bit helps.
Every little bit helps. As long as we work for one common goal, that helps us.
Right.
I love the name, Live from the Bridge.
Live from the bridge.
Live from
Live
the
from
bridge.
the bridge. Yes.
Ali, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it. It's been fantastic talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, I think you're very enlightened, and I wish we could hear your voice in more bigger platforms. I mean, you're very realistic about situations and sort of a way forward without being overly, because what you tend to see sometimes, civil society, they'll make these demands, full well it's not going to happen. So at least you guys try play in a space where you can sort of move the needle a little bit, versus some civil society organizations that tend to be unrealistic, where if you're gonna negotiate with me and I'm a looter and you start with keep your hands out of the jar, that's a non-starter. At least you're willing to say, look, let's talk about the cookie jar. Okay, no, I know your hand is in there, but let's talk about the cookie jar and what you're doing in there. Do you have to take all 10 cookies all the time?
Yeah. I hope you guys will make time and come and visit OUTA as well. But the first one at the bridge, I'm inviting you. But what makes OUTA ticks? We all come with different expertise and experience and qualification from different backgrounds, but we display this one artistic bigger picture for the society.
Right.
And maybe that's how that makes us a cut above the rest. Realistic, very simple. Let's talk about simple issues, but very honest, straightforward as well.
And brave. Brave.
Brave is our middle name.
I know.
Brave is our middle name.
Got to be brave.
Yeah. What you see about us is what you get. We ordinary people talking about bread and butter issues, but making those in power a little bit uncomfortable because we ask the right questions.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right, Lou. It's been a pleasure, as usual.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Andy, thank you so much.
I climbed inside the bottle to give my brains a rest. The world she changed so quickly, I'm sure it's for the best. Fire and water, they making war here behind my eye. The bottle she promised a better life, but these tears they